my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Okay, guys, I've been getting a lot of hate over these Joker videos. And in the last video, I did nothing wrong. I gave this guy his props. I told people that he needs to speak up. He needs a Hall of Fame teammate. Um, I was just asking, did he stat pad in the Hawks game? I didn't know for sure. I didn't get to see the game. The game's not in my area. I just asked a simple question. And these guys are going crazy, talking about Caitlin Clark, telling me that I'm an Uber driver and all this stuff because, yes, I do drive sometimes and make videos. I got stuff to do. I don't live at my mama's house. I've heard the whole nine. I'm done. I'm sick of it. These guys are telling me that Joker is better than Wilt Chamberlain. He's better than better than Shaq, better than Bill Russell. So look here, guys. You guys are losing it now. And before we go over this image was made 8 seasons into these guys' careers. And what I was comparing basically is centers and what they did in their first 8 years. Yes, we know Joker has one more MVPs and some more All-Star teams, some more All-NBAs, but so do these guys. I mean, what are we talking about? This guy, Mona Lisa Daddy, I think that's his name. I love these videos with the traffic sound in the background. Seems like every DoorDash delivery and Uber driver is an expert on something these days on YouTube. Joker is so far beyond Shaq, Bill, and Plumber Dennis League giant Wilt in such that's not even funny. It's like comparing Lucy to Einstein. Oh goodness, Einstein wasn't too smart. He was good at science, and then after that he pretty much he didn't have any common sense, right? He was book smart, but he didn't have any common sense. And there's a lot of people like that. They know how to take orders and read a book, and what they do in school, and they tell you, well, what did it say in the book? You need to answer on the test. And then when you pass the test and you get it right, you're smart. You're ready for work. You're brilliant. No, a lot of these people don't have common sense, okay? These people are just, what would you call it? Do boys, do girls. They just do what they're told. It's like, well, we already said, even the Gorilla King, Kendrick Perkins, gave up his spell. And now licking Joker's boots, we'll talk about that. But there are still some of them people that are slow to catch up. What do you say? It might take another century or two. Oh, Kendrick Perk. Perk didn't want to give the man no credit at all because the man is destroying a weak, soft era. And that's what he's supposed to do, folks. I'm not beating him up because he's destroying a soft, weak era. You got to give him his props because he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's not sitting out like Joel Embiid. He's not faking injuries. He's not saying he's the next Michael Jordan, like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards should be putting up no less than 30, 6 and 6, and 2 steals. Okay, that's Michael Jordan-esque, and Michael Jordan even took it to a next level. Now, let's understand before we go deeper into this. And Joker isn't playing against great centers on a nightly basis, or even good centers on a, back in the days, you wasn't playing against great centers on a nightly basis. There wasn't that many great centers to be playing against great centers on a nightly basis, but you were playing against good centers on a nightly basis. Okay, you were playing against good centers, and then sometimes you would play against great centers. That's how it was. Joker is not doing that, folks. He's not playing against good centers and great centers on a nightly basis. He's not doing it. Who's the great centers? Don't tell me Joel Embiid. If you can't play, you're not a great center. You might be a good center, but you're not a great center. Okay. AD, okay. But he takes orders from LeBron James. So he can't be that great when we're talking about great centers. They're men and they're leaders of their own team, right? They're not playing underneath somebody, right? These are great centers. And I consider Duncan to an extent a center. Even though you might not want to, that's fine. I just put some comparisons up here, and you can see them. The first 8 seasons, and Joker ain't touching these guys. Ain't touching these guys. Ain't touching them. And I told you, a lot of it has to do with Joker out the gate wasn't doing nothing. Joker, I think he came in 14, 15, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see before they try to rip my head off and say you don't even know what season he came in. And we'll see what season he came into the NBA. I thought it was 14, 15. No, he came in 2012, folks. Did you hear anything about Joker in 2012? I didn't. Well, let's look at this real quick. He came in 2012. Oh, hold on, my fault. That's his playing career. Hold on. Let me make sure this is right. He was selected by the Nuggets in 2012. Didn't start playing in the United States until 2015. Didn't make an All-Star team until 2019. Right? So I guess we can see why, his awards and such aren't on the level of these guys, because these guys came in the league running. Okay. And we can also add Shaq into there. He hit the ground running in other great centers back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But these are the main guys that I'm talking about. Wilt, he's not on Wilt's level. You can say Wilt played against nobody, but at the same time, Wilt did what he was supposed to do as a great player. Put up statistical titles, and dominate. That's what he was supposed to do. If you're an all-time great, that's what Michael Jordan did what he was supposed to do. Put up statistical titles, take the league by storm. These are the things that you're supposed to do. It don't matter your competition. Now, Joker, in his weak, soft 2020s, he's doing what he's supposed to do. We can't beat him up because he's better than everybody else, right? Can't do that. But he's not on the level of these all-time greats yet. He's gonna have to come through with championships, man. He ain't even got the champion. Will only won 2 and went to 6. He didn't even win the championships that Wilt won, and Wilt won against greater centers where guys could hand check you, bump you, push you around, use physicality on you. There's no center using physicality on Joker, and he knows it. He said the NBA was a joke. And basically, he's saying that in 2020s. Remember, he got selected in 2012 and didn't start playing until 2015. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. So, in 2015-16, let me make sure this is right. He came in the league averaging 9 points a game. Tell me what all-time great center came in the league averaging that. Was it Shaq? Was it Hakeem? Was it David Robinson? I don't think he's better than David Robinson. Was it Kareem? Maybe it was Bill Russell. But Bill Russell did other things. No. Was it Kareem? Hakeem? No. His second season. Okay. He raised up basically 6 more points to 16. The next season, 18. And then he finally gets to 20 in the 18-19 season. And the next season, which was a bubble, 1920, he went down under 20 points. Okay? And in those years, those 5 years I'm talking about, he only averaged double-digit rebounds twice. Okay? And look, guys, his assists are what they are. This is what these guys, whatever they want to do in this era, they can do it. There's nobody to stop them. It ain't like somebody's trying to stop them. Great defenders and saying, no, you're not going to control the offense like this. We're going to make sure you get shut down at the top of the key and all this stuff. Okay? You guys are taking this too far. This guy became a great player later. All the all-time great players I know that came out, they were great off the bat. The Michael Jordans, the Charles Barkleys, the Karl Malones, the Kareems, the Wilt Chamberlains, the Bill Russells, the Dominique Wilkins, the Isaiah Thomases. They didn't have to wait for the league to get weaker, because the league didn't get weaker for them to be better. You ever heard of a center never making a defensive team? That's unheard of. All you have to do is act like you're playing defense in this soft, weak era. And I get on all these guys, whether it's Durant, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Tatum. All these guys never made a defensive team. And it's shameful because all you have to do is act like you're playing defense and you should make a defensive team. A bunch of nobodies is basically making defensive teams every year in this era. Except I could say maybe Anthony Davis. But for the most part, they're not superstar players that's making a defensive team. So basically, they're saving all their energy on offense. So these teams are trying to beat you on offense, and that's it. So they're basically letting each other score. Who can score the most points off of each other not playing no defense? Instead of in the past, yes, you would have to beat us who could score the most, but you would have to do it with defense on you. That was more incredible that a guy was putting up, 37 points, 35 points per night, 30 points per night, 25 points per night, because that guy earned it. That player earned it. Those assists, that player earned it. Those rebounds, you was battling against great centers, great power forwards, and sometimes great small forwards. Okay, and sometimes you was battling against great guards. The Clyde Drexlers, the Michael Jordans was getting good rebounds. The Jason Kidds, a lot of great guards were getting rebounds, whether it was offensive or defense. Joker ain't. Look, man, we're trying to give this guy credit for being great in his era. But when you start comparing guys that played on both sides of the ball, that played other players that played on both sides of the ball, or other players that played defense, so you earn your offense, and dudes weren't just chucking up threes all game. They literally was playing positional basketball, which means you had to have a certain skill at every position, right? You had to have a certain skill at shooting guard, point guard, small forward, power forward, center. You had to have a certain skill. You don't have to have any skill today except for launching a three, and that's it. And letting other players launch threes. And players letting you launch threes. You don't have to have any skill. Pick and pop, pick and pop, pick and pop. That's it. Joker, it will take him to get at least 4 championships for him to be in my top 10. Stats don't matter to me, bro. They matter to you because they look so easy. They look video game-ish. This guy is running through this era and dudes is just bouncing off of him. Because they don't want to play no defense. And he knows they don't want to play no defense. We know the players in the top 10. He's not better than them. And we're not just talking about offense. We're talking about guys that play offense and defense. This guy don't even average a block. You know why? Because he saves all his energy to be an assist guy. So basically, what do you need a guard for? A shooting guard. And what do you need a point guard for if you're taking up all the assists? As a center, I always said that about LeBron James. You want to get your 7, 8, 9 assists a game as a forward, power forward. So what is your guard and your point guard there for? What are they there for? It makes no sense. I'd rather have LeBron score 30 points a game, right? Go get your 10 rebounds that you're really supposed to be getting at 6'9", 250 pounds, and tone down on assists because you're not really running no break. You're not really running the offense like a Magic Johnson, a John Stockton, a Kid, a Steve Nash, a Chris Paul. We seen real point guards. The point guard, I mean, the assist here is just throw it to a guy. It's not really, it's not really against no great defense or going through traffic, no look back, all this crazy stuff. Yeah, y'all might see a great pass once in a while and you think it's the craziest thing you ever, the most beautiful thing. This was on a nightly basis by great guards, point guards back in the day. That's what they did. They ran the offense. And look, I already told you, we already know who's in the top 10, but we can go over this. Start with my top 5, and then we can go keep going. Jordan, Wilt, who is Kareem, Russell, Magic, and then we can go, stir the pot on the other ones. That Joker ain't better, in my opinion. Tim Duncan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, and who we missing one? can't think of the other one. Oof. You, I don't know, man. I would take it's some names out there, but he's not in my top 10. Not yet. He doesn't have it yet. He's not better than the guys, man. I just can't, man. He's got to win more championships. He just got to do it, man. He just got to do it. He's got to show me he's dominant, because most of these guys were dominant in one way or another, whether it was statistical titles, defense, offense, championships, MVPs, all this stuff. These guys were dominant, man. I mean, you put Joker in some of these guys' situations, and Joker actually has to play his position, because these guys play positional basketball back in the day, and that's when you want to ask yourself, would he be able to do that? Would he be able to do that? I don't think he would. And not only play positional basketball, as a center, he would have to play defense. As a basketball player back then, he would have to have defense played on him. Okay, so I'm not too sure, man. I'm not too sure. Look, that's what I tell you. When he first came into the league, nobody knew nothing about. He couldn't even play in the NBA. He got drafted and had to play in Europe for like 3 years still. Okay, he could have come straight to the NBA. It was too tough for him, unless you're trying to tell me something else. And then when he got to the NBA, he was a no-name, man. He had to get good. He wasn't a great player coming into our NBA. Not the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, he was starting to get good, right? And then on, he just progressed. But you guys got to stop, man. There's no reason to go back and forth about, me cutting this guy down and, trying to compare this guy to the all-time greats, because he's not there yet, man. He's not there by putting up stats in a weak, soft era. Even if it wasn't weak and soft, by putting up stats, it's just not going to get it. It's not going to get it, man. You don't want to be remembered as a whole bunch of stats. That's going to expose you if you're just known as a whole bunch of stats and you can't win championships. I mean, come on, man. They could have beat the Timberwolves last year, and they didn't. They didn't. So there's no way I would take Joker over any of these guys. Could you imagine these guys right here playing defense on Joker? Woo! Playing defense on Joker. Come on, man. They will shut him down, man. Yes, he might get his little assist, but come on, man. He's not going to out-rebound these guys. He might, put some offense on, be a more offensive player than Bill Russell. But what I told you guys, Bill Russell probably could have averaged 25 a game. Of course not 50, I almost said 50. But he could have averaged 25 a game. But he did other stuff. He did other stuff to win championships. And that's why some people say, hey, you play to win championships. Okay, that's it. And don't tell me he had a stacked team. Yes, he had a stacked team. LeBron had stacked teams all of his career. What did he do? It's about what can you do with those stacked teams. What about Durant? He done played on a lot of stacked teams. What did he do? He didn't do too much. Except when he was in Golden State. He really wasn't no leader over there. You got to be a leader of men to win 11 championships. And what was it, like 8 straight or something like that? Come on, man. Quit trying to, you guys keep trying to make me compare eras, and this is where you go wrong. It's if this era played defense, we could start to compare eras, but it still would be wrong. You don't compare eras. And you say, oh, you just did. Well, you guys are making me compare eras. I said Joker is the greatest player in this era, but you guys are making me compare eras by you guys saying this guy is better than these other guys. You guys got to remember what skills are. Skills aren't just a guy dribbling around and having no defense put on him. He gets to do whatever he want to do in a soft era. When we talked about positions, and you had to have positional skills that each 5 positions on the court, those are skills. You guys are talking, oh man, this dude ain't got no bag. This dude, this and that. Them ain't skills, man. Your skill is based on your position. That's why these guys would get picked out of the draft. They'd be like, man, I'm looking for a forward. Let me see his skills. I'm looking for a power forward. Let me see his power forward skills. I'm looking for a center. Let me see his center skills. I'm looking for a shooting guard. Let me see his shooting guard skills. I'm looking for a point guard. Let me see his shooting guard skills. Them are skills. They're trying to act like a center is supposed to have the skills of a damn point guard. And they're supposed to act like a small forward is supposed to have the centers I mean, the skills of a sense. I mean, come on, man. This is why basketball is so bad, because we done took the real skills out of basketball, which are positional skills. When you look at um, football, you got to have a certain skill at each position. Tell me what you think.